Evening and welcome to the Touch Tennis Show. We have got a fantastic show tonight because for the first time we have got the live airing of a draw for a touch tennis event. As always, I'm Rashid Ahmed. Thanks for joining us.
And Chris Eaton, how you doing?
So, any news on the tennis world this week? Anything interesting apart from Rafa getting hosed by a journeyman?
Well, yeah. It's been one of those weeks we've talked about before, where there's 3 tournaments on in the week. So it's one of those tournaments for the not so well known players to really stamp their authority. One of those weeks for not so well known players to stamp their authority and make a big jump, because guys from probably about 120 in the world rankings can get into a main event of a big tournament, and that's obviously where the big money and the big points are.
Right.
So this week we've had Montpellier in France.
Yeah.
We've had Vina del Mar, which was obviously where Rafa was, and Croatia, Zagreb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Zagreb every year produces pretty much always produces a Croat in the final or a winner. Ančić used to love it there.
Yeah.
He used to play.
Do you know he's a lawyer now?
I didn't know that he was, because he got a really bad illness, didn't he? That put him out for a while. And he decided to study.
Called chokitis or something.
Study law.
He's doing really well.
It doesn't. I think you make enough connections when you're a tennis player, and then you kind of show that you can deal with pressure and stuff like that. So, So it was Cilic this time. Cilic got that tournament done fairly comfortably, I think.
It wasn't a buy for him after Nalbandian booted somebody in the leg or something.
Not this time. Time. He actually had to win the final. Although I think it was like 3-1 against Meltzer. So I'm not sure how much he actually had to earn it. But so that's that one. Always pretty quick, and it's very cold in Croatia these times. So that's probably why the Croats win it. They're kind of ready for how cold it's going to be.
I never quite understood. Like, I remember we were talking last year. There was quite a rare week when there's like 4 tournaments at the same time. It was at late October or something.
Yeah.
Where you've got Tokyo and 3 in Europe, and they're very close together. That was when Murray got duffed up after having match points. Remember, against Nishikori? I think he lost the roundage, and then Nishikori went on to win it.
Yeah.
When there's these tournaments spread out across the world like that, what is it that makes your decision? Is it just home advantage? Is that what you look for?
Depends who you are.
Okay.
Depends who you are. Someone like a Cilic who can get into all of them. Obviously, home stuff. I mean, we've got the 3 tournaments this week. One of them was on clay, so obviously clay quarters or South Americans will obviously sort of think about going down there.
Right.
They had, and 2 of them were in indoor pretty quick, so it would be for the Europeans, whichever one we're getting in.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the top French boys will play in France, the top Croatian boys will obviously play in Croatia.
Okay.
And then for the other guys, it's where do we prefer to play?
Yeah.
The other top guys, top 50 can choose wherever they want to go.
Surely some of the guys in the top 10 or someone like a Rafa can just go based on appearance fees or the surface he wants to play on.
100%, yeah. Yeah, any of those
Cilic
guys
can surely ask for an appearance fee at Croatia, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, obviously he's probably going to get paid more in Croatia to play because he's a much bigger name in Croatia than he is in France. And the opposite is for Gasquet, who won Montpellier. Obviously, Gasquet would probably get paid more in France to be the big name, the big French player.
I read a stat about Gasquet that he broke serve 44% of the time this week.
That's incredible. For a one-hander, that's really incredible.
And on a bullet quick surface.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the one-hander helps because he's got more last-minute adjustments are easier with 1 than with 2.
Maybe, but you normally say best returners are the 2 hands with strong behind the ball. That you think of the best returners in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
And you'd say Murray Djokovic,
Rafa. Yeah.
Yeah. So. So that's what happened, and obviously Rafa lost to Zeballos, which is I'm pretty sure I haven't been able to completely confirm this, but I've seen him play a couple of times. I'm pretty sure he's a one-hander.
Oh really?
Yeah, and you wouldn't expect Rafa to lose to a one-hander on a clay court.
I mean, there's more and more of this. I'm seeing more and more one-handers suddenly, and you've been saying this for a few months now, starting to do some damage, and really are. I mean, Maggie. Almagro, Wawrinka, points away from blowing Djokovic away.
Yeah.
One-handed, Federer, obviously, me. Gollage, world number one now, one-handed. I mean, are we seeing a re-emergence of the one-hander? Or are people like Adam Hassan, the little filthy grinder, are going to come along and just keep that two-hander going?
I think you've got to look at in terms of all the results, you've actually got to look at the two-hander being steadier and the one-hander doing more damage. Because if you think about this resurgence, as you like to say, you think about the Wawrinka match, and it's because he can just create so much power off that backhand.
Yeah.
And you think of how Almagro's playing; he's just absolutely leathering the ball.
Yeah.
So, I would say it's more we're seeing that these guys coming through and having big matches because actually a one-hander is I reckon you can create more power with a one-hander, but the two-hander is slightly more solid and obviously better up high. So again, it could well be because the last few tournaments have been either indoors. The last few months, the end of last year was indoors, and now we're coming up to another indoor stretch, and Australia doesn't bounce that high.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we're seeing some one-handers doing well.
Right.
Because obviously it's sort of standard procedure that one-handers don't like it up high because they just don't have that strength. But we'll see. We've got quite an interesting week coming up again because it's another 3-tournament week next week.
Okay.
We've got Rotterdam, which is where Fed's playing.
Yeah.
We've got some big boys playing there because it's a 500. Last week they were all 250s. We've got Sao Paulo in Brazil. It's where I think Rafa's going to have another outing there, and we've got San Jose in the States.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is actually quite an interesting one for me because this is where everybody's been talking about Raonic, how good he is. This is where his defending starts.
Yeah.
He won San Jose last year, I think.
Yeah.
Certainly won or final, but this is where he went on his tear.
Mm.
So it'll be interesting to see if he can.
They used to call it the Sybase Open. I remember it was where Agassi made his comeback and played Sampras that first year back when he decided, he'd come through the challengers and stuff, and he came back in 1999 and he played Sampras in an absolute lights out returning match. If someone wants to call in and tell me if I'm right or wrong, maybe Google it and check, but I'm pretty certain it was 1999. It used to be called the Sybase Open. But also in terms of, that was a re-emergence, but in terms of emergence, I remember watching Andy Murray there against Leighton Hewitt.
Okay.
He was with Mark Petchey at the time. Hey Mark, how you doing? And someone had said to me, is Andy Murray ever going to make it? I said, don't be silly. No, he hasn't got what it takes. And in that match, afterwards, I phoned him up, a friend of mine, Jan Volbeda. I rang him up and I said, I was wrong. This guy, if he doesn't make top 5 in the world, I ought to be shot. And so should he. And he was playing Leighton Hewitt, I remember it. They were going backhand to backhand. And he just destroyed his backhand with exactly the same tape back. Nothing changed. And Hewitt, at the time, was still very, very, very quick. He wasn't slow. This was 2004, 2005.
So he'd only had like 1 or 2 operations on his hips.
Yeah, exactly.
27.
And only 3 on his spinal column.
Yeah.
And Murray just cleaned his clock with his backhand. And I was like, what? So you can't tell when he's going to just destroy the ball. And then he went backhand, 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 forehand. It was this classic one there where he used to just rip cross court, but Hewitt was coming forward. And it was just a brush he put on it. And Hewitt hadn't hit a bad backhand on his way in. And I thought, whoa, this kid can really do something. So maybe this is that one tournament,
Again,
or that week.
Again, it's a week. It's a 3-tournament week.
Yeah.
And it's also when, like I said, these weeks happen at specific times. So obviously last week you didn't have any of the big players other than Rafa because he was coming back. But if Rafa had played the Aussie Open and been in the final or the semis, he wouldn't have played that week. So you've got a week where you don't have the top boys.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that from 10 downwards, players are vulnerable. You can beat an Almagro on your day.
Yeah.
You can't beat him. Well, very very rarely can you beat a Federer or a Murray or a Djokovic on your day.
Yeah.
Until we're talking about a guy ranked 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
So we saw it this week when Gasquet beat Benoit Paire.
Yeah.
Who's an up and coming French guy. So he made it to the final, and that was his chance and his time, and he took it. And that's kind of what you see. That you have weeks, places like Newport Rhode Island, they always have a random winner or a finalist.
Richard Bloomfield did well there one year, didn't
Bloomers made semis,
Yeah.
I think so. We had Rajiv Ram.
You played him, didn't you?
I think Rajiv Ram won it.
Did he?
Yeah, I think Rajiv won it. Prakash.
Isn't he the most Sampras-like serve ever?
Yeah, he completely copied Sampras. Yeah.
Apart from the tongue out, everything else is exactly Sampras.
Forehand, back is good to watch.
Yeah, it's nice to watch. If you sort of like you've got bad eyesight like me, you can kid yourself into thinking the greats are back on court.
Exactly.
And then you see him get crushed by someone like Jamie Marry, for example, and you're like, well, this isn't Sampras. No disrespect to you, Jamie Marry. I know you're a great player, but I mean, you against Sampras in singles wasn't going to end up, too good for you.
Well.
Yeah,
but so that these are the weeks that these sort of up and coming players are really looking for and really trying to make their move, and we've seen a couple of them do it.
We had someone on the Facebook page. I'm just going to have a quick look at this actually because it's worth mentioning. Actually, Alex Oldfield is asking, what time is the draw? The draw is on the show while we're live between now and 9:30. So my advice is tune in or phone in if you've got a complaint about something, about the show or about your seeding. The telephone number is 0203 397 4087. But Oldfield, my advice to you is not to call in because we'll just spend 5 minutes abusing you and then cut you off because you're northern and you're stupid. And what were you doing losing to Jonathan Shacklady? Are you stupid? I mean, the guy's just a big serve. That's it. Block with a bit of slice, rally, win, point. How are you seeded for? I mean, it's a disgrace to our sport. This is why I think touch tennis, we need to change the system because you can't have people like Alex Oldfield top four.
I haven't had what sounds like the extremely displeasurable experience to watch him play.
Yeah.
So I can't really.
Oh, he's
comment.
a disgusting player to watch.
That's when we need to grow the sport. We need to grow the sport and make sure that the top players are the top players.
Talking of growing the sport, you're going to be at the event on Sunday playing.
I am indeed. I'm
first tournament since September, which you won, which was Essex.
Yeah.
So you're unbeaten at the moment in Masters play. You're on a 6-match winning streak.
Was Essex a Masters?
No, there was only 5, wasn't there?
I need a watch.
Yeah. It was 5 rounds, I think it was. This one's 6. Actually, you only played 4. You played the Magician, duffed him up. Who'd you play next? Sam Cooper? Duffed him up.
Yeah.
What a journeyman. Then you played me, was it? No.
No.
I lost to Cooper, unfortunately. I was blind, but hey.
I can't remember.
It wasn't Ben Cloud, somebody else. It wasn't Andy Dowsett again, was it? No, he never gets past the round. He sucks too. But then you got into...
played Elliot in the final.
Yeah, and played Elliot in the final, and you duffed him up too. That was
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. And he was moaning as usual. Elliot, you've got to stop moaning when you lose. This is something you always do. You always complain about the conditions, the net, the balls, the air, your balls, lack of them, whatever. You've got to start playing your game and stop moaning. Because this Sunday, you're going to get punked. There's about 50 players in that draw that can beat you, Elliot. And I'm being generous there. Probably more like 58. And I'm not even including me in that, which we all know I could take you any time. Matt Gollage and Adam Hassan playing. Adam Hassan played Matt Gollage yesterday. And after I'd said to Hassan that I thought he had what it takes to be number 1 in the rankings. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously by playing every tournament and travelling around the world, not because he's skilled or anything like that. But then he goes and plays Gollage yesterday and gets done love, and 2. That doesn't bode well for a guy that pushed Elliot to 3 sets, tough sets. What's Gollage doing differently these days?
Well, it goes down to the fact that certainly in any racket sport, but even in any sport, it's about matchups, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about what games suit, who plays well, and if my strength matches up with your weakness, or vice versa, then it's a good matchup for one of us. And I guess that shows, it shows that Adam likes playing against Elliot, but something that Gollage brings just throws him off. Or it's easy for Gollage to find his weaknesses.
Bit of the Old Spice, the brute, the aftershave, it's the locker room stuff.
Yeah, maybe it's Gollage just injecting pre-matches and mentally phased him.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the way I've seen those matches pan out, I watched a little bit of them live once. There was definitely a bit of sub-dom in that relationship. It was something. And I'm not, being, overtly sexual about it or anything like that. I'm not trying to sexualise or denigrate the great things that Adam Hassan could bring to the court, but I definitely think there's something that happened in juniors that they're not telling us?
That's another thing for matchups, though.
Yeah,
It's a lot to do with history, isn't it?
yeah,
You know, it's like we said with the tennis. You got Benoit Paire, who's a young French guy, coming out to play Gasquet in the final.
yeah. He's owned already.
Yeah.
Mentally,
Does he believe he can win?
Yeah.
And then you have people who grew up together. You know, you're thinking about, let's say, good examples, Guillermo Coria and Nalbandian. They grew up together.
Yeah,
I think both of them got done for lying about their age.
yeah,
Which is always entertaining. But
Yeah.
so we got those guys grew up together. So whatever they were going to be playing
yeah,
would always be, there'd always be some sort of history there.
yeah.
So,
Well, we've also got later on in the show, we're going to have a guest, Justin Sherring. But for now, our first guest, I'm going to bring on the show is Harriet Mattinson, and she has been friends with me for probably far too long for her own liking. Luckily, most of those years have just been on Facebook. But she's involved in nutritional products and healthcare. And she's been working for a while on these products. It's some aloe vera stuff. I mean, I'll let her explain it to you. But our guest again, as I said, Harriet Mattinson. We've got her on the show mainly because she makes a great entrance. Nothing to do with.
Hi Richie, lovely to see you. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome, Harriet. Chris, I'm going to leave you to quiz her about things.
So you're on the show to mainly, come and challenge me at touch table tennis. That was obviously the only reason you
I did
came on.
fantastically. I think I got roughly 10% of the points, which I think is not too bad.
Roughly 10%. I think you got roughly 1% of your serves in.
Less than that.
Less than? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was...
Beginner's luck.
Yeah.
Call it beginner's luck.
Beginner's luck. Yeah, luck works both ways. It can be
Yeah.
good or bad. Adam's now trying to tweet in and send messages in saying there's a difference between practice and tournaments, bud. It sounds like excuses to me. But Harriet, you and I have been talking for a little while about the different products that are out there that you can take on board when you're exercising and health-wise.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get you on the show for quite some time now. For one reason or another, we couldn't get you on. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now and what you think I should be consuming for starters when I'm on court. Because dairy milks, Red Bulls, Coca-Colas, and anything else I can inject into my system, I'm taking on board at the moment. You got any healthy alternatives for me?
I've definitely got some healthy alternatives. I've been working alongside this company for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
They're without a doubt one of the global leaders in natural health and well-being, and a number of their products are fantastic for sporty people. They can help you perform better, give you more energy, recover better, fantastic for healing, that sort of thing. So if it's okay, I might bring a couple on.
Yeah, sure. So tell us, what are some of the, like when we're playing, like certainly in tournaments and stuff, what would you recommend I be drinking?
Okay, I would highly recommend this energy drink.
Okay.
It's called the Fab or Forever Active Boost. It's a much healthier alternative than some of the energy drinks, one that you mentioned earlier. It has an equivalent...
I mentioned Red Bull, it's disgusting.
That's exactly it.
So, I mean, but we neck it left, right and centre because it just drives you. I am por Julio, I'm a gringo.
Yeah.
You can play well, but I'm not necessarily saying it's a good thing. Go on. But.
Well, this has equivalent levels of caffeine, except it's a natural caffeine, guarana.
Right.
It also has some aloe vera in it, which is fantastic for energy.
Isn't that like a lube or something?
It depends what you do with it, but you can drink it. It's brilliant for you to drink it. It also has the guarana will give you an instant energy lift.
So you mean it doesn't damage you if you by accident swallow some of it?
No, it'll be really good for you.
Oh, okay, great. I'm just checking.
And also it has some adaptogenic herbs in it that give you a longer term energy hit. There's a number of Olympic athletes, medal winners in the last year, especially from the Russian and German teams, who are using this and think it's fantastic.
What about any of the Tour de France people? They use it?
I don't know.
Really?
But if they did, all of the products that I'm talking about tonight, they have WADA approval. So any of the
What's WADA?
The World Anti-Doping Authority.
Oh, really?
So you can use these
but only for
safely.
2013, right? The next year they're going to say, "Oh no, that is not allowed. We are Swiss doctors. You've got to change your mind." So, I mean, is it when you say how stringent is that? I mean, Chris, when you were playing professionally on the tour, and we still to a degree, you'll never take anything from this house that doesn't come directly out of a can of of Coke or Diet Coke or something, or you'll mix things like your water with sugar and salt rather than take a diurolite to rehydrate. How stringent is it, and why are people like Murray and Djokovic calling for stronger?
Well, I mean, first things first, I wouldn't take anything out of this house because you're the dodgiest bloke I've ever met.
You can have this. I brought this into the house.
I think that sounds like a good idea to me. But no, I mean, these guys are, the testing is really, really vigorous. I mean, the top guys have to say exactly where they are going to be on a certain amount of days when they're not competing. You know, they have to be ready to be tested whenever. And the biggest problem a lot of these companies have is that the larger companies have sort of sport-specific ranges, and then other ranges.
Right.
And so that's why everything has to be really stringently tested, because if, for example, they're doing a muscle building protein for you, which it doesn't matter really if it has, you know, something that's not that bad for you, but illegal in tennis. If that's made on the same, if that's sort of separated on the same carousel, let's say, as the energy drink that I've got to take, if a tiny bit of that gets into my energy drink, I'm in trouble. If I get tested, that'll show up, and it doesn't matter how much you've got in your system. So
how often do you think you got tested when you were on the tour?
Well, I got tested very regularly when I was playing the bigger tournaments.
Right.
So the Wimbledons, the Davis Cup. Whenever I played the tour events, even in qualies, they'd test you.
Right.
But the challenger.
What is that test? Is that like they take blood, or is it like
no? You got
rubber gloves?
Pee in a pot.
Oh, okay, right.
Yes, nothing like what you're thinking.
Yeah, I was just thinking, just proper like cavity search. Check you haven't got any drugs on you, as well as But go on.
No, but the challenges and the futures very rarely. So especially futures. I don't think I've ever been tested at a futures tournament.
Sweet. You want to take drugs? Well, that's a really bad thing. But challenges and futures is the place to go, Rafa. That way you won't. I mean, if your name was Rafa, not Rafa, and no doubt if you've been off for 9 months for some strange reason. But so tell me more. So that's, for example, drinking while I'm playing. What about hydration from something like that?
I think the hydration's pretty good from this. I think it's better than
something else. But what about, let's say, what would you recommend to keep myself hydrated? Because I mean, Golo had this problem recently. He was at a tournament and he won in semi-final. First time he'd beaten Elliot Mould in a match, which was great for him. It felt great. 5 sets. Then he went up against Jordan Ball and he went 2 sets to love, and he gagged. And he said it was dehydration, but we all saw those familiar symptoms. That hacking cough. When you're choking on a chance, it's got to kill you, hasn't it, college? Let's hope that doesn't show up on Sunday and you don't get hosed like you did in Bolton by Elliot. What would you recommend? Would like a straight up drink or a supplement?
Probably a straight up drink, and being calm. When you're starting to lose and your adrenaline gets up and you're starting to feel anxious, that's going to make it worse, isn't it? So
what, like someone who might break a racket or something? I don't know anyone that does things like that. It's disgraceful. Gets a little bit charged up and smashes a racket and stuff.
Yeah.
But we need to see your challenge, don't we?
You do need to see my challenge. I'm really proud. It was my first ever game. I got 2 whole points. The only way is up.
That is very true.
Let's hope that you didn't disgrace yourself as badly as we think you did.
I'm proud.
I'd be a little bit closer if I were you.
Yeah, that radio.
Okay.
You're scaring me the way you're... No, don't worry.
All right.
You'll want to be here, basically.
All right. Spin for serve.
Red or black?
Red.
Sorry, do it again. That's better. So the first one was a foul spin.
Obviously.
That's the way it goes. Ready?
Okay.
One love.
Straight in.
You used to that, are you, Harriet? Could this be the first 21-0?
Maybe.
3-0. Yeah.
That's a badge of honour in itself.
4-0.
Right?
Yeah. 5-0.
5-0. You'll serve,
Harriet.
Harriet.
Shot that you made one.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It's you.
Okay.
Stick with the backhand.
Small
Stick with
table.
the backhand,
Yeah. 8-0. I don't even need to edit this film. It's going to be so quick.
Okay, concentrate.
9-0. Chris, have you seen the size of her grip? Just try to give her a 3-point thing. Doing her a favour. 10-0. Listen, if it gets to 21-0, it's pants down rules apply. This is the guys' area.
You can take your pants down whenever you like. Don't stop me. I'll do it just to make you take your pants down.
Please don't. I'll do the point.
10-0. Touch. 11. Oh, you won 11-1. What's wrong with you, Chris?
To get the hang of it.
Oh, she's going for big shots.
Getting there. Getting there.
11-2.
12-1.
12-1, sorry.
This isn't a charity.
Yeah, sorry. 12-1.
Surely. What's the trick? Is there a trick?
Hit it
What
softer.
am I?
18-1, that's
I
Chris.
was baffled by getting a serve in that I couldn't even hit it back. Okay.
19-1.
First swear word we've had on here as well. It's quite good. No!
About almost the second swear word as well. 22. 21-2, that's
Well
just a
done.
pounding.
Well,
Wow.
Sorry.
Thanks.
The serving the let you
Thank
down.
you for the charity 2 points there.
You want to. You want to.
Do we do a highlights reel or just run it straight?
Just run it.
Right, everybody, we've got a surprise guest. We've got the polar bear here. We've got the Eskimo man, but we're going to have to see if we can get him in shot a little bit. I'm going to actually move to the camera. Actually, if we just get him over here, a little man hug like this, that'll work perfectly. There you go. You're amazing in shot. This is Justin sharing. Justin and Chris have some history, don't they?
Yeah, we do indeed. We do indeed. How long have I known you, Justin?
Probably since you were way smaller than me, which shows how long ago that was.
Must have been a long
if I
time
stand
ago.
up, you'll understand how long ago it was. Yeah, since about 8 or 9 years old, and you're a little bit older than that now, Chris. So
Yeah, just about. Not quite as mature as I was back then, but you know how it is.
all good. Is
Hang
little
around
chubby
with me, you
cheeks.
get younger. She's actually 105 years old. She hung around with me for a day and she's looking younger too. I have your scores though. What we'd like to know, if anyone would like to know where you came on the board. This is important. There is room somewhere on that board for you.
Yep. Of course there is.
There's not much room above
Right.
Dan,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
What
So-
can I say?
Justin, what do you think of her technique?
You know what? We were just chatting whilst you're watching, and I thought for a first timer, I mean, I actually want to test it. If we're talking about testing and drugs, and I'd
Well,
like
she's
to see
been
her tested.
Talking
because
about these products, and
I
she's
think
saying
she's
they're
good.
WADA approved, but I don't know about that. No.
I'm not sure about that, but I think if she's a great advert for the products. The
Yeah.
way she played, her reaction time, just the contact point, it was good. It's as good as I've seen.
Thank you.
It's as good as I've seen. I just don't ever want to get myself out there playing. That's for sure.
You're next, trust
Yeah,
me.
you're next.
And then I'm going to slap you up directly
Well,
after.
I need 3 months to take the same products that have been taken.
Yeah.
Well, Harriet Mattinson, your score was unfortunately 21-2.
There's nothing unfortunate about that. I got
There's
2
plenty.
points. That was more than I was expecting, so I'm happy.
A man with longer hair than you got more points.
I think it's
Good.
And
it's going to be a
Yeah.
clap from me.
Good.
yeah,
I think it's a great.
you
Yeah.
give me a
Always,
clap.
always, you got a clap.
Yeah, you
Clap
got
these
a clap.
things, you know.
Okay, I'll clap.
This might even be a slow clap, but
Yeah.
you got to clap. You got to clap.
Well, it won't be the first time Harriet's been in a room with 3 guys and got the clap.
Rashid!
I meant the clap. What is wrong with you
promised
people?
not to mention that.
So your score was minus 19.
Oh,
I'm afraid you're at the bottom of our board. If anyone ever comes on this show and does worse than that, we will beat you round the face. I promise you. You won't even be allowed to come up and do the show. You'll get
can I
humiliated.
come back and challenge them for bottom place?
Yeah, you can.
Brilliant.
Yeah, see,
All right,
there
so
you go.
deal.
I think that's fair call. So we've got one more tweet, which is from Ben Minsky saying that, haha, you had to get that little comment in at the bottom of the seedings list. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I don't even know what the comment was. I wrote it 8 hours ago. Do you not know how much I write on social networks? At least tell me what the comment was, you moron. Another northern twit. Do you think it's something? I mean, you go north of Tottenham Court Road and the IQ just... Eskimo man, you tell me. You're from the north, obviously.
Well, you know, it's tough, and the later it gets, the dimmer it gets in your own little world.
Yeah.
And it's what you expect at this time of night.
Well, what a lot of people are expecting at this time of night from us is the draw.
Here it is.
We are now going to do the first ever live touch tennis draw. I'm going to take this down because we remember the order they're in by a very scientific method of placing them one on top of the other. There you go. That's science at its best. A man with 1 GCSE at PE. In my defence about my schooling, I did have a great time. Right, let's see if this works. By the way, I don't own a white iPad. This is my wife's. Before anyone tweets in or abuses me.
You just own 4 black ones, don't you?
Yeah, sort of something like that. The 7-incher, the black 7-incher, and the 9-incher. Sorry. But back to the show.
This is a pretty epic moment in touch tennis history.
This is an unbelievable moment. So, we are now live on the touch tennis back office here. And you can see I've got 3 witnesses. Nothing untoward is happening. But we are going to read out the names of the people as they're called out. And this is how we're going to do this. So the first thing we do is we go into fixtures results. We find the tournament that we're going to be talking about, which is the Bromley Masters in Kent in the 2013. We go to auto create fixtures, knockout tournament, all players entered. How many seeds are we having? We're having 16 seeds. I heard Gollage asking for 32. What a wimp.
32 seeds?
Yeah, he was terrified of facing me.
Yeah, I imagine that's true.
Yeah. The display speed, what do we want? A 1 second gap?
A bit longer.
2 seconds?
2 seconds, yeah, let's get this done.
2 seconds. Create fixtures. This is it. Boom.
Can I be David Icke?
What? Press run draw.
That's what he used to do in the old FA Cup results, FA Cup draw.
Dave Dyke, who was he?
David Icke.
Oh, David Dyke.
Yeah, and he then predicted when the end of the world was going to be.
Oh, did he? Oh, yeah, him, yeah, 2015 or something.
That's right.
Oh, talking of which, yeah, actually, he had made a great point earlier on. He was saying we've got to be really careful of Al Qaeda and shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse my French. On Sunday, because if someone dropped a bomb on Bromley, all of touch tennis, the people that matter, would be gone.
Yeah.
And we would be left to Nick Jakes and my mum to run touch tennis.
Bubbly Nick Jakes.
All right, Justin, I want you to press run draw.
Look at this guy, just turns up for 10 seconds and gets the honours.
Good luck, everybody.
I feel like you should say we're using Camelot. Pause number 7.
Matt Gollage, who we got? Against Jack Lusher.
We're using Edenlot.
John Richards against Simon Roberts. Oh, Sean Watson playing Melina Harris. That's going to be brutal.
Melina.
Danielle Hayter is taking on Jack Fryer. Jack, go home. Matthew Watson, Vince Spadia against Joe Ralph. Tom Corrie.
Oh, if only it was
Julian
Tom Corrie.
Squires. Chris Eaton, who you got, Chris? He's got Ben
Oh, it's tough.
Tom Byrne is playing Elliot Seabrook. Oh, that's a rough one. Oldfield, the Northern Monkey. Shenzi Boone from Belgium. From Belgium. I'm German, sorry. Seth Thomas against James Moon. Bunny draw. Ben Harrison against who? Stefan Halsall. Oh, another Northern Monkey. Danny Sapsford.
Justin Sherr.
Craig Wheel. Big match. Jordan Bull playing Ben Clow. Surprised if he turns up. Robert Gilmore against Luke Milligan. Rob, you too. Give up. Adam Hassan. Hassan, you've got Miles Bugby. Buggers as he's known. Matt Pearce is coming down to play Scott Thompson. Don't know the guy. Elliot Mould, the bottom half now. Steph Cornish. Adam Constable is playing Peter Hall. And then Filmer takes on Jake Sauvage.
We've still got Corey Thornley and Cava.
Gary Lowe is playing Chris Bint. He played him again. He lost to him in the Arnaud de Proust against Justin Sherring. Sam Hayes against Max Giaconelli. Christopher Moynil against Has His from Malaysia. Benjamin Smith against Sean Thornley. Brent de Winter, I'm from Belgium, against Paddy Kachelski. It's another first round exit for Paddy. Sam Cooper against Tom Jarvis. Then we've got Alex Brown, the journeyman, playing Jamie Pethick. Jonathan Watson. Oh, I thought it was against me. Jonathan Shacklady. Rashid Ahmed. Oh, Sharon Fitton. I play Nick Cavaday against Angus McCall. So Ben Minsky, the monkey. Ben Minisko against Daniel Bourne. And the last match is Piers Herford Jones against Ed Corrie. Piers, don't bother turning up.
That bottom section is horrible.
I know, look at that.
There it is.
Good luck getting out of that, Rashid.
Well, I'll be easy. I'll get through Sharon. I'll pay Nick Cavaday. He's got some serious mortgage debts at the moment. Minsky's northern and stupid. If I offer him £5 as opposed to the 20 he gets for getting through to the next round, he'd be like, oh, but I get 4 of them. All right, I'll take those. Bloody hell. Could buy myself some coal and some pies. So he'll be done with. As for Ed Corrie, I mean, come on, he's going to turn up with high shorts. He'll start chafing in between the legs by the time he gets to the round. He's got to play me. So I'm quite comfortable with that. Look at some of these matters on here. I can't run it there. Let's go back to the top again. It ran a bit quickly. So Golich against Lusher. Yeah. Do you really want to come here, Lusher? I don't see the point. John Richards against Simon Roberts. That's going to be interesting because Simon is I don't miss. He's a wall. Absolute brick wall. But Richards serves off a crane. He literally has the Battistone serve, jumps 6 feet up and slams it down.
There aren't any helicopters around.
No, they're all in Vauxhall, mate, wrapped around buildings. Sean Watson is playing Melina Harris. That should actually be interesting. And then Danielle Hayter and Jack Fryer. I think they're both people from... But this match here, Ben Cullen. I think that match should be on the cage.
Yeah, if I don't get centre court for that, I'm going to be very, very upset.
Cage match. And then who have you got if you get through him? If you get through him, I'll add.
Burnsy or Seabrook, it looks like.
Oh,
interesting.
Burns is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Tom Burns is a tough player.
If he can get a serve in.
Yeah.
Tom Player, the king of battle box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to this. I hope you enjoyed watching the first ever Touch Tennis live draw. We will have more for you next Tuesday when I believe, all things being equal, we have Jeremy Bates on the show. And we have one last message from someone who's too cowardly to call in. It's Piers Herford Jones. He has said, bring it on. Piers, you're playing Ed Corrie. That's actually going to be quite interesting. Yeah, thanks for coming. Listen, can you do me a favour? On your way back to North London, I need you to drop something off there for me. Can you take it back? It needs to be there by 11:30. Harriet, my thanks to you for coming on the show. If you want to know more about Harriet's products and what she does, your website is...
it's www.aloevitae, which is ALOEVITAE.co.uk.
We're going to put that up at the end of the show on a tag on the YouTube thing so you can go to it as well. Trust me, I drank one of those this afternoon. I was asleep when she came and she poured it down my throat. I'm for Julio. I'm wired. And my blood sugar, I'm diabetic, type 1, and it hasn't spiked. If it does, it's because I had 3 pancakes that this twat brought me over. He said he wasn't going to eat any of them and I should be healthy with them. So I started stuffing them. I've done 3 already. Hoping to do all 10 by the end of the night.
All right.
Or is it 8?
I think it's 8.
Don't worry about it. My wife's bought me fish and chips. Vamos! So listen, Sunday, I'm looking forward to seeing you, Sharon Fitton. And then if I beat you, Cavaday, hasta la vista, baby. Sharon, just for you, we're going to be on the cage court. Thank you very much for watching and thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you all next week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.